If you are a lover of affirmations or you've just heard about how powerful they can be, then you are going to love the Daily Affirmations for Women podcast, created by the Women's Meditation Network and hosted by the amazing Jody Agard. Every morning, you'll receive an episode that is dedicated to one specific affirmation, so you can have the space to reflect on it and receive the power within it. Follow and start listening now to the Daily Affirmations for Women podcast on your favorite podcast player.
This is Optimal Health Daily, episode 2283, Eating Clean, Unintended Consequences, by Nancy Clark of nancyclarkrd.com, and I'm Dr. Neil, your host and narrator. Welcome back to another edition of Optimal Health Daily. This is where I read to you from some of the best health and fitness blogs on the web, kind of like an ongoing audiobook. And we have a bunch of shows covering different topics. Check them all out by searching for Optimal Living Daily wherever you're hearing this. And now, let's get right to the post and optimize your life. Eating Clean, Unintended Consequences, by Nancy Clark of nancyclarkrd.com. I've started eating clean, quinoa and brown rice. No more white rice. I haven't had cookies for ages. I'm eating clean, no added sugar. When I visit my parents, I bring my own food. It's healthier. The clean eating movement has raised a lot of questions about what you should and should not be eating. I hear athletes chatter a lot about good or nutrient-dense foods and bad, nutrient-poor foods, as well as clean foods. So, if you're feeling confused about what's best for you to eat for health and performance, you're not alone. Clean foods are generally defined as being unprocessed, all natural, free of GMOs, added sugars, high fructose corn syrup, refined grains, and perhaps gluten. Clean foods are also free of antibiotics, hard to pronounce ingredients, and wrappers. Some athletes talk about avoiding unclean food with an air of superiority. I don't do sugar or white flour anymore. This often includes denying themselves of some fun and special foods like birthday cake, dessert with friends, and warm dinner rolls. Clean eaters can easily instill guilt in a friend or relative who eats, let's say, warm rolls from the restaurant's breadbasket, as if that person is sinning. Note, eating is not a sin. Please understand there is no such thing as a good, bad, clean, unclean, or junk food. An apple, for example, is commonly considered to be a good, clean, or health-promoting food. But a diet of all apples is a bad diet. I encourage you to stop labeling specific foods or ingredients as being good or bad. Instead, you want to look at how the food fits into your sports menu for the entire week, month, and year, and evaluate a food in context of a balanced or unbalanced diet. Even so-called bad foods with little nutritional value can be balanced into an overall wholesome sports diet. Note, the only bad foods, the ones that you really don't want to eat, are moldy, poisonous, or cause an allergic reaction. The dirt on clean eating. Clean eating often comes with unintended consequences. Please keep the following dirt in mind if you've stopped eating salt, red meat, refined grains, and added sugar. 1. Eliminating table salt when cooking and at the dinner table reduces your intake of iodine. This mineral was added to table salt in the 1920s to eradicate goiters. A goiter is a symptom of a thyroid disorder. Iodine is in dairy milk, saltwater fish, and seaweed. If you rarely eat those items and add no salt to your food, your iodine intake could be quite low. Iodine deficiency is associated with infertility, poor brain development in infants, low metabolism, and chronic fatigue syndrome. Pink Himalayan salt, sea salt, or other specialty salts are not iodized. The salt used in commercial foods, not iodized either. If you're an athlete who sweats heavily and craves salt, don't hesitate to enjoy a sprinkling of iodized salt. 2. Cutting out red meat reduces your intake of iron, a mineral needed to prevent anemia and needless fatigue. Anemia is prevalent among females who lose iron via menstrual bleeding. Studies suggest 20 to 50% of collegiate female athletes experience anemia. Male athletes are also not immune from becoming anemic. A study with collegiate male runners suggests about 20% were iron deficient. If you choose to abstain from eating iron-rich red meat, be sure to consume alternate sources of iron, such as chicken thighs, tuna fish, dried beans, and iron-enriched breakfast cereals. Note that all natural cereals, like granola or puffins, have no additives. That means they have no added iron. For those who eat no red meat, this further reduces their chances of consuming adequate iron. 3. Eliminating enriched white bread and other refined grains also reduces the intake of iron, as well as B vitamins, such as folic acid. These nutrients are added to help prevent deficiencies. Folic acid is of particular importance for those who might become pregnant, since it helps reduce the risk of birth defects. A diet with some enriched and fortified refined grain foods boosts intake of this important nutrient. Given U.S. dietary guidelines recommend half of the grains you eat should be whole grains, the other half can be enriched grains. Yes, white pasta and white breads do offer nutritional value, so mix and match your grains. 4. Eliminating carbs like starchy foods such as bread, bagels, pasta, rice, and so on can easily lead to dead legs and poorly fueled muscles. I counsel far too many athletes who train hard and just eat protein and veggies for dinner with no carby foods. Even athletes who eat a lot of veggies with a meal will unlikely consume the recommended 3 to 5 grams of carbohydrate per pound of body weight that optimally replenishes the muscle glycogen stores of competitive athletes. This comes to at least 1,200 calories of carbohydrate a day for the 150-pound athlete who exercises 1 to 2 hours a day. This is far more carbohydrate than found in a large salad doused with 500 calories of dressing. No wonder I hear so many complaints about fatigue, dead legs, and poor workouts from athletes who have knocked off the carbs. Eating a grain food as the foundation of each meal resolves the problem. And 5, eliminating foods with added sugar eliminates a lot of fun foods. Do you really want to never enjoy cookies or birthday cake ever again without feeling guilty, that is? Is there something wrong with enjoying a sweet treat in moderation? No. U.S. dietary guidelines state 10% of total calories can come from refined sugar. For most athletes, that's 200 to 300 calories of added sugar a day, or about 50 to 75 grams a day, and this will help fuel muscles. Athletes who avoid sugar with the hopes of curbing their so-called sugar addiction commonly end up binge eating sugary foods. So denying sugar is not the solution. Rather, routinely balancing in a sweet such as a daily cookie can help keep cookies from becoming an all-or-nothing food. The bottom line: instead of aspiring to eat clean, how about focusing on eating a variety of foods that offer 85 to 90% quality calories? Balance in unclean foods if desired with the remaining 10 to 15% of your calories. No need to suffer through a perfectly clean sports diet because an excellent diet is good enough. Despite popular belief, a little bit of quote-unquote dirty food will not ruin your health forever. You just listened to the post titled Eating Clean, Unintended Consequences by Nancy Clark of nancyclarkrd.com. Good news, business owners. Hiring game-changing employees just got way easier thanks to Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform helping over 3 million businesses do it all. Attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Don't spend hours on multiple job sites looking for candidates. With Indeed's Instant Match feature, over 80% of Indeed employers find quality candidates the moment they sponsor a job. I especially love that if you invite these or any candidates of your choosing to apply, they are 3 times more likely to apply to your job than candidates who only see it in search. Start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/health. Offer good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit now at Indeed.com/health. Just go to Indeed.com/health and support the show by saying you heard about it on this podcast. Indeed.com/health. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. One of the OLD Network's core values is helping you to keep your mind sharp. Well, I've been leveling up my focus with Word Collect, which is a free word puzzle app with over 2,000 levels. Word Collect gets harder as you get better, so it's a fun and challenging way to keep your brain sharp and grow your vocabulary. I highly recommend you give this fun and addicting brain game a try. And right now, Word Collect is offering you 2,500 coins and 500 gems when you download and play. And those coins help. You'll need them when you're having a hard time reaching the next level. I've been there a few times, and I'm thankful they made it easier for me to keep going because I don't want to stop playing. So stop mindlessly scrolling through social media and keep your mind sharp. Just go to the Apple or Google store and search for Word Collect. So if you're like me and want to get fit with your mind and body, download Word Collect for free today. Dr. Neil here for my commentary. Whenever I hear the words clean eating or eating clean, I roll my eyes. Well, maybe not in an obvious way because that would be really rude, but in my head, I'm thinking, here we go again. I'll try and explain why the phrase eating clean bugs me so much. Try this experiment. If anyone ever tells you that they're trying to eat clean, ask them to define what it means. Chances are they won't be able to clearly explain it. They might say something like, well, it means I stay away from packaged foods. And then they might trail off and mumble some other things. Cool, that's a great goal to have. But does that mean you wouldn't buy fresh, whole bell peppers that have been packaged together? Or what about pre-chopped fresh mushrooms? Or frozen fruits and vegetables, which also come in a package? Do you see where the logic starts to fall apart? In fact, there is no accepted definition for eating clean or clean eating. So depending on how each person thinks about it, it can lead to different interpretations. And according to the Harvard School of Public Health, this may lead to removing food groups like dairy or wheat for no good reason. Look, there's nothing wrong with trying to eat nutritious and less processed foods. But if we start to remove entire food groups in the hopes of eating clean, we may not be on the right track. All right, that'll do it for today's episode. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll be back here tomorrow for the Friday Q&A and where your optimal life awaits.